hello, everyone out there. So, I have something that I want to talk today in this live transmission, and I've been talking for years about the Christ energy that's actually been the catalyst that has been pushing people into awakening into their highest potential. Um, I want to talk about the different feminine energies today, and we may touch a little bit on the masculine side. But one of the things that I've realized in my last life was that the divine feminine archetypes, like Mother Mary, did manifest in that life because when you balance and ground yourself enough to feel the energetic vibration of Mother Mary, then you can embrace it and you can actually learn how to speak from the heart. So it's very different than your normal day to day output, right? Where you may have a circumstance that can set you up into, I would say, a vicious cycle of repetitive patterns, or if you actually stop and create awareness of the moment and allow the experience to happen for you and not against you. So, what we're going to talk about is the frequency of Mother Mary. We did a meditation on the last life where I asked people to put their hand on their heart and the other one on the sacral chakra, because that is the connection to creation. As you know, women have a womb, and that womb is the one that brings spiritual people like us into this experience, right? And we all have this set of tests that we chose to actually come across to get into rediscovering ourselves and remember who we are. I've gone through hell and back. And the reason why I discovered that I was going through hell and back, it was because of my perception, not only of life, but love, unconditional love specifically. Because in my heart and in my mentality or perception of love, unconditional love was something that you will give to everyone, regardless of how they perceive it or receive it. And life has taught me not only that I wasn't on the right spectrum of things or perception of things, but also that even though I had that divine Mother Mary love within myself, I didn't have the energetic boundaries I needed that are to be expressed with words and actions. So, let's get into it. If you like this and you're liking the content, just press like so I know you guys are present, or leave a comment. We'll be answering questions as we go. I'm going to try not to deviate. That's why I'm drinking my mushroom coffee. Yes, because I tend to go out on spiritual Vivi's Lava Land for a little bit. So I did wrote a script of what exactly I want to communicate, and I asked Copilot to put it in order for me so I can follow the bullets. I'm learning as I go. So I want you to understand that if you're looking at a relationship where there is a man and there is a woman, or where there is two partners, regardless of they're the same sex or different sex, One person is going to be the embodiment of divine feminine, and the other one is going to be the embodiment of divine masculine. And what these people call about being an emperor or an empress or a king or a queen is one person being a whole and carrying both frequencies. So, in a lot of my past relationships, I carried the feminine aspect of things with the masculine communication of it. And it doesn't work because for a man to feel in their head manly enough to provide for a woman, they want that fragility or vulnerability of the women to express. But because of my circumstances, I always lived from the masculine energy because I was my own provider. I was the one that learned things on my own. And I was by myself for a long time, being the mother, the father, the daughter, the coworker, the employee, everything. I was like literally all the hats in one. So for me to step back and allow my feminine energy to be present in a relationship or an interaction, it was a little difficult because I was not used to it. I didn't know how to actually work with it. So eventually, I started manifesting the PTSD, let's say, backslash of having to live a life in masculine energy, being my own provider, being my own structure. So I always called myself a rebel, not because I want to go against the grain, it's just because I've never allowed myself to bring the soft side of me in front of others naturally. At times, I forced myself to step into that energy, and I will not have the security part of the masculine energy to balance it out and ground it so I could feel okay with communicating what I felt, what I needed, what I wanted. So, what we're doing today is we're going to talk about the different feminine energies are in the archetypes, right? Of the spectrum of the feminine archetypes that actually make a woman or a man embrace their divine feminine energy. Okay. So, the feminine aspect of people will work with the healing. They are the creators, they are the warriors, they are the mystics, the mothers, the maiden, the crone, the priestess, and mostly the ones that have the creation energy of Sophia, which is a wisdom keeper. We all have this engraved in our DNA. It's just how we see what surrounds us, what allows us to switch the perception and be more reciprocal to the energy and not be a mother of a grown up person, but still have that motherly love to care for people. It also means to understand our worthiness, which at times can be misconstrued with status quo or indoctrinated patterns of what or how a woman should look like in a relationship and things like that. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to reconnect with the compassion which comes from the center of our hearts. We're gonna integrate the knowledge and wisdom of Sophia. We're gonna integrate the grounding, profound energy of Mother Gaia. And obviously, we're gonna do this with the tenderness of the love that is embraced by the Mother Mary archetype, right? So, when I channel from both energies. I channel from Mother Mary's side of things, which is divine feminine, and I also channel from the Christ energy, which is the masculine energy. Now, for me, outside of religion, please, this is not open for debate because everybody's okay by having their own perception of what religion means. For me, religion is love. If you don't have love in your heart, then you cannot practice any religion, because the main key of religion is understanding and living under unconditional love by following a blueprint and a guidance, which is expressed in the Bible in 1 Corinthians 13. And when I started the journey, I thought I was living that life until I stopped for a moment and said, let me observe. Let me observe what my circumstances are telling me that is not in resonance or vibration with me, who I am, what I feel in my heart, and my true heart, right? That love that for me is like the love of a little kid, okay? Then I started looking at how I acted in front of different circumstances so I can actually understand the root of the problem and heal it on my own. I started looking at where I was closed off, where I was way too open and oversharing, and why. The why is important because the moment that you hear yourself complaining about everybody around you, they're not the problem. You are. And I found myself in that spot again after I started the journey and I understood the mission and the vision of the journey. And it was because I didn't know I had PTSD. Therefore, the interactions were a little bit triggering to me, and I was exposing myself too much into sharing or oversharing information about my mission, my vision, my dreams, and everything I wanted to people that had double standards in their lives, where the only reason that they wanted this information was for benefiting themselves or use it as a mocking tool. So when I channel the message from Mother Mary, or Abba as I call it, right? I started seeing that the majority of the messages, they had a lot of insight for myself about how I was acting, how was I reacting, and how was I engaging in things that didn't serve my best interest or the mission. So I focus into being more focused in what aspects of me still need to be worked on, facing the shadow aspect of me so I can integrate it. And with that shadow or the remnants of that experience, create something that can help anyone out there get into understanding what it took me so long to understand. And yes, there are many thousands of gurus and people speaking about unconditional love, but I bring a different perspective and perception of things that may open up your heart into being and feeling safe to love again. All right, so I want to welcome you because we're going to start channeling from the center field of our hearts. So I want you to breathe And remember that one moment in your life when you were a little kid and you fully felt embraced by receiving true unconditional love. It could be from mom, it could be from dad, it could be from grandma, grandpa, a stranger. Go back to that moment and sense your body. What is your body telling you? How did it feel? Sit with that thought for a little bit. And when you breathe, open up that heart. Open the heart into not just believing what I say, because I'm not here to impose anything on anyone, but to allow the experience to flow and discern what you need in this moment. Okay? Mother Mary, being the loving, compassionate, and caring portion of every human, is the one that worries and cares about others' well being. Mother Gaia is the seed of creation that nourishes the earth and an energy that is being felt through grounding. Sophia is the archetype of creation. If you know the story of Sophia, she thought that she could create on her own and apparently created this god that felt entitled. We're not talking about hierarchies here. We're talking about the self. For me, the Bible is a blueprint on how to control your vessel, including the mind, to stop walking ego and start learning how to open the heart to walk from the light that comes from the heart. That one that knows how to love, how to share, how to embrace, how to feel reciprocally invested in committing to a partnership or a job or a project. So, the heart frequency of Mother Mary is based in compassion, forgiveness, without abandoning ourselves to extend this to others. It brings purity from the bottom of your heart into interactions. It's not perfect, but it's something that the healed heart uses as a technology for spirituality. So I want you to feel that love in your chest. I want you to close your eyes right now and imagine yourself in a field where there is grass, a tree, and maybe a water body. We're going to integrate now the archetype of Mother Gaia into the archetype of Mother Mary. So we're going to resonate in the frequency of love by imagining that moment that we felt fully loved for who we were without expectations. And then we're going to move into the envisionment or envisioning this open space where it's in nature, that the grounding energy of the forces of nature are going to bring to the experience. So, to ground yourself, imagine yourself maybe sitting in the roots of that tree, just leaning back into that tree and feeling the wind and become an observer of your repetitive cycles. Acknowledge them. Know that you're not living that experience in this moment. Observe them. But don't allow those moments to ruin your vibration. How do we do this? We thank them for being present and reminding you where you got lost. We hug them with a nice smile. And we tell our body, it is safe to be myself. It is safe to be me. It is safe to be compassionate. And it is safe to sit down in this place and just enjoy what I have in front of me. Look at the body of water. See if the water is calm. See if there's movement in the water. And just be grateful for having that vision. If the water is not calm, it means that there is something inside of you that is making you drown in thoughts. Breathe in, hold your breath, exhale. Breathe in again and allow yourself to know you have the power to calm the waters. Open your eyes and look at the water, calming itself down. Thank yourself for being able and capable of doing this. And reassure that you're safe in this space. See how your feet interact with the grass. See how the wind is actually the one that is allowing you to take these deep breaths, and your lungs are expanding and your heart is becoming warmer. And stay in this presence. Stay in this energy of love filled with light, sun. Smell the wind of nature. Acknowledge if there's animals around you. And take a moment to observe the animal's reaction and how, if it is moving, if it is still, if it is flying, could be a butterfly or a bird. Ask the animal, what part of them do you need to embody and allow it to happen? With that energies gathering together, Mother Mary's compassionate, loving heart, Mother Gaia's protective and grounding energy, let's integrate the remembering of the feminine, which resides in the archetype of Sophia. You put your hands in your womb and feel the creative energy that flows from that space. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. This works for everyone because we all have these energies in us. That creative energy can give you maybe a little sensation of tingling in your back. It may relax your shoulders so you're in a receiving mode. If a good idea comes up, embrace it. If a not so good idea comes up, let them know who's in charge. We are a soul that is fragmented in different pieces and energies. And to vibrate in the highest resonance of unconditional love, we need to take all those pieces and join them into one whole, perfect light that we can embody as we move in life. Not to be perfect, but to understand that we're here to learn, make mistakes, and learn from them, right? Because if we make a mistake and we keep on making it and making it and making it and nothing changes, it's because we're not grounded. We're not focusing on ourselves, and we're focused on external noise. Sophia allows you to remember who you are. Sophia gives you the power to reclaim your voice. Sophia gives you inner authority to command reality to be created from within you so it can manifest by disassociating from the circumstances. The maiden is the innocent side of us which explores with curiosity, which allows us to have new beginnings. The mother is that nurturing voice that we need to embrace for ourselves. And when we do it with others, understand we cannot lose ourselves in another person because we're whole, we're complete, we're creators. We're unconditionally present because we want to be present, not because we need to be present. It's a huge difference. At times, when you look for love outside of you, you force yourself to stay in places with the bad perception or wrong perception and mentality that you're needed. I was there until I realized I'm not that important to be needed by others. But I can become an important part of somebody's life if they want me to be present in their lives. So that unconditional presence, you don't only give it to yourself. You also learn how to use it as a way of communicating and staying present in other person's life without trying to control. The warrior in you is the one that creates boundaries that are not negotiable. I used to put boundaries with people, but then break the boundaries myself. I was telling the universe, hey, I'm not ready for this. I set boundaries now, and I do my best to keep them in place. It takes courage, and that's the warrior in you, the one that brings out the courage to do it. Why courage? Because you may think, oh, if I impose this boundary, then this person is not going to stay with me and they're going to go. The right person is not going to go. The right person is always going to be there with you. Trust me on that one. Even at your worst, if there's no disrespect, just you being yourself, you're gonna embrace having a person that is totally authentic in front of you. And you won't have this mentality of wanting to change anyone, but allow them to experience life so they can ground themselves and find their true authenticity through their presence. The warrior in you has this righteous protection, which allows you to see what people call red flags or projections and stop taking it personal. And disassociating them with the heart of people, but the healed or unhealed version of them, so you can actually discern in what space they are and decide if you want to be part of that experience or you want to continue your experience separately. The mystic. The mystic comes with expressions of art, poetry, music, spiritual sensitivity, and not a spiritual ego. I once was in the spiritual ego bin where the indoctrination is all I needed to talk about, but I didn't know why I was being so passionate about it. And then I'm like, I sound like a person that is fanatic, and I dislike fanaticism. So I sat down with myself and I said, what is the sense of urgency you have? Let it go. So the creatix is the creation part of you that is having that child in the womb being created, a project, a song, a poem, all of that. Let's talk about the priestess. A lot of people hear the word ritual and they think about pagan rituals. Do you know what a ritual is? You waking up in the morning and being grateful for having opened your eyes. Grateful for what you have, regardless if it is not where you want to be. Devoted to your passions of creation. And that energetic mastery of the priestess is the one that conforms and manifests the vision into reality. So you start creating from that love. You start creating from that peace. You start creating without feeling the need or urgency of feeling pressure, but just allowing the art to express itself with one stroke, color, a shape. The queen, that crown that everybody tells you, oh, don't let anyone take your crown from you. We're always living so quickly that we don't realize when the crown is not straight in your head and it might be tilted, right? Being sovereign about your truth and authenticity allows you to have your queen crown or king crown placed in a space where regardless of what the noise outside of you is telling you. You know who you are. You don't need to compete with anyone. You don't need to show anyone who you are. You just allow yourself to be seen and others to recognize who you are without expecting everyone to be in that place. The queen is the one that speaks with leadership and not with duality or doubt. The queen is the one that knows what she wants and becomes the go-getter. The queen is the one that can discern manipulation because she's not buying the illusion of words, but she's seeing the congruency or the trinity of and steps and movement working as a whole, not words feeding her mind into taking that queen into an illusion, but the actions being reciprocal to the words that she's hearing, as well as the energy flowing. When I started this journey, I knew the concepts. I knew the energetic vibration of the concepts because a lot of people tell me that when they're in my presence, they feel this ease to be themselves without feeling judged, or peace in my home, right? My physical home, or sharing a spiritual because not only my tone of voice, but my just be themselves and speak from that ease that comes from a loving open heart and not from the aggressive portion that comes from a hurt heart. The crone, that's wisdom. That's the old soul in you, the DNA imprint of the blueprint manifesting not only in words, in daily habits, in well nutrition, in practicing your rituals, not to become a boring person that has everything planned from A to C, but a plan changes. A person that is okay if what she wants moment because she knows she can give herself everything she needs. The one that knows that every ending is just the start point of new beginnings. The one that is okay with letting go of the things she once desired or wanted or dreamed about. Not because her dreams are going into a back burner, just because she's creating from a new energetic space where the need of perfection is not needed, but the intention and the presence is the key for her to allow the experience to unfold naturally. It's the deep knowing in ourselves, that nudge, that gut feeling of when we need to remove ourselves from a place and following the guidance. the lover. Everyone will. The sensuality of a person is not, sexually speaking, something that should be embodied in an act. Sensuality could be just the way you smile, just the way you can see somebody with through open eyes filled with love, excitement, and joy from being yourself. It's embodying that energy of all the motherly archetypes and knowing you can protect yourself from going into the same repetitive patterns that you were going in when you didn't know how much you were worth. It's that emotional intimacy that allows you to be soft when you need to be soft, to be assertive when you need to be assertive, and to withdraw when you need to withdraw. But not because your body is in fight or flight mode, because the energy tells you this is the right place to be or this is the wrong place to be without second guessing. Let's move to the healing portions and the distortions. Women think that people keep someone around them, as well as men when they're in their feminine energy. So we're not going to point fingers at him or her. We're going to talk about the energy. So you need to release the people pleasing portion of you that identifies with a specific way of being in order to be received as complete and whole. Because that might be what is actually your limiting belief. You need to understand that you don't need to suppress yourself emotionally. You are okay with being vulnerable and open. If a person is not appreciating the vulnerability of you allowing your emotions to express, you don't have to suppress them. You just have to disassociate yourself from that interaction. Hyperindependence doesn't mean that you are whole and complete. It means that you actually believe that if you don't do things, nobody else will do them for you. And hyper independence is good in certain aspects of life when we have circumstances, but when we are in goal mode, that needs to be let go of because it's an interaction. Do not be ashamed of being soft. I was always ashamed of showing this side of me because I always thought that showing this side of me will become easy prey kind of thing. But don't be ashamed of that. Just make sure that when you use your true open heart, you're not using it because you want someone's attention, but you're actually understanding that the person is present and you're just letting yourself be authentic with that person. Stop being afraid of becoming visible. There are people from both sides of the spectrum, men and women, that do not like someone that shines or outshines them, and that is ego. So if you're scared of being seen, then how are you going to interact in a relationship where it's open up in the public and people have or will see you either at your job or singing or in a platform or with a person holding hands, if your fear is the visibility of what you want and your heart desires, then you're going to stop yourself from experiencing the flow of water that needs to be embraced when doing something, regardless if it is a sales pitch or if it is me being here in the camera, right? The wounds from the mother line, we all have wounding in our family tree. We need to stop associating ourselves with that just because they lived that type of life or they did or they may not have healed that portion of them. It doesn't mean that you can't. It means that you're responsible of how you allow that to affect your life or not. Embodiment and activation. If you place your hand in your heart and breathe into your womb and the lower belly and visualize a lotus flower or a rose blooming. I love glitter, so you can imagine if you like glitter, how light or glitter or orbs are floating out of it. You can let yourself feel okay with saying, I return to myself. I allow myself to return to my inner wisdom. I allow myself to return to my true, authentic self. I allow myself to embody the unconditional love frequency that's engraved in my DNA. With all these three archetypes, you can change your life. I encourage you and I honor the space in you that meets the space in me in this platform. I honor your experiences and I honor your heart because home is what the heart is, not what the mind battles. Home is the space of love where compassion, clarity, and softness become one. Home is the space in you and in me where love resides without judgments, conditions, or control. I am happy you guys were here. If you like the content, share it. You never know who can actually need this. You can follow or subscribe to the channel if you want to. You can ask questions. I'll check comments later and come back to this recording and check the comments. And if it is part of my inner wisdom, I will share a little piece of it with you. If it is not something I know, we can work together into finding out. Just remember, very soon I'm going to open a space where we're going to do a workshop free of charge where I'm going to help the artist and creator in you learn how to create from emotions without allowing the body to resonate on that emotion, but express it artistically so you can actually stop being stagnant or in the rut of not knowing or not having that energy to create because you may be focusing on the circumstance and not on the lesson. So soon we're going to do a set of videos where we're going to actually work with that. It's going to be free of charge. I'm going to post them here in YouTube. And I'm also going to give you a PDF that you can actually download and print so you can have a workbook. And who knows, if you want to share whatever you create as we go, then it will be a safe space where we can all enjoy speaking about what we feel or see in your art, your poems, or your songs. All right? Much love, peace, and light. And even when I'm not always in this loving, compassionate energy, because we have fluctuations in life, always remember to go back to the heart, because that's where love truly resides. Love and care, Vivi.